Alright. Well, moviegoers, this movie has brought me two things to the table. One, I really need a girlfriend. Two, the entire Johnwick series is nothing but just absolute bangers. Banger after banger after absolute banger. I can confidently say that this is a fantastic movie. This movie had my balls tucked in and my asshole buckling its seatbelt. This movie starts off with nothing but fight scenes. Even Johnny Sins himself is starting off with getting himself some action, if you know what I mean. But sad to say, I can't give this movie 10 out of 10. Like it so rightfully deserves. It definitely deserves a 10 out of 10. It is an absolute 10 out of 10 movie, and you should go see it. But I am gonna have to give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. And I do have my reasons for that, and I'll get into the nitty gritty in a minute, you little gremlins. So pack your bags. This is a trip into the spoiler zone. Ooh, spoiler zone! Pull up the panel. Right. So, if you haven't seen this movie yet, this is a fuck you to you. Now let's get into it. This movie is so fucking perfect. I mean, like, the scenery is so good. Like, the colors, they just blend together. Like, there's just so many scenes where you're just like awestruck automatically. Like they go to Paris, they go to England, America. They're like everywhere. I think like at one point they're like in like some desert, Egypt. I think. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But yeah. So it starts the movie off. Johnny Sins, sexy man, is in Japan with ninjas, hitting guys in the nuts and shooting a gun, both at the same time, strategically. Badass already. And there is this one scene that I just can't get out of my mind. It's so fucking good. He is shooting this one guy while he's hitting this one guy in the nuts with the nunchucks over and over again. And once he has him on the floor for like the second time he hits him in the nuts, he's about to swing for like the nunchucks, but then he looks at it and he's like, fuck it. And he stomps the guy's nuts. Like, fucking, like, stone cold, Johnny. Super fucking cool. And then there's like this blind man who's like also an assassin, like around like Johnny Sins like fucking level. And he uses like sound to like kill his enemies, and it's like super cool. He like steals like Johnny's name or some shit. I don't want to get into it. He's like blasting balls and shit. There's like some awesome black guy who has a dog. He gets his hand cut at the salon. Super sad. He didn't get the cut that he wanted. There was a lot of blood. Motherfucking priest with a shotgun. That's all I have to say about that, really. A guy who is basically the Penguin, but also Kingpin at the same time. But he has like an awesome fight with John Wick where he's like beating the shit out of him, like, brute strength fat guy. He puts him against the wall and then fucking like body slams. Like that fat dude does so many moves for like how big he is. Absolutely great scene. And like the scenery is like super like fucking beautiful. Painted Black is in this movie. Automatically really fucking good. Banger fucking song. And speaking of fire, there is a scene where John Wick gets an AR that has a shotgun attachment to it. And he's not just using the shotgun attachment. He's using the AR and he's using fire fucking pellet rounds. So you're seeing like literally fire spread into someone's body and then like, gunning them down. He's going fucking on and on. It looks so fucking cool in the theaters, and I really do advise you to go see this movie. It's so fucking cool. It is absolutely so fucking good. There's like okay, so here's the thing. There is this important scene. It starts off with like, the guy like walking down a really long hallway, super funny, comedically really large paintings. And like he's taking a really long time to like get down the aisle. So they're in between these two paintings. The villain and a previous villain, but like he's like a good guy now, sort of, not really, sort of. And they're like talking about important stuff. I can't really listen to a single word they're saying because in between scenes, there are these two paintings, one behind this guy and one behind the other guy. One has this bitch with absolutely giant hungalugabongas, like just hanging out. And I'm not talking about like, you know, she's like wearing a shirt hanging out or like she's wearing like her bra hanging out. I mean like those tits are just like kind of fucking swaying, bro. Like they're just kind of there. And you know, they're out in the open just kind of, you know, being there. And then once you swap back to the villain, there's a bitch with absolutely fucking massive buns, dude. Just absolutely just giant hams. So like, they're just saying shit. They're just talking. And like, in between scenes, there's just this bitch with giant tits, and then there's this bitch with just giant ass. And it's just swapping between the two. And they're not covering it with their heads or anything. No, it's just like literally right there, just for like your eyes to go. And like, it is so fucking hard to like just focus on what these guys, these boring fucking old men are talking about. I mean like, just bitches, dude. Just absolute bitches. Whew. Had to get that off my chest. Yeah. So I couldn't really figure out what was going on, because of the swapping of like meats and stuff. So many good moments, but here's what struck me a little raw. The ending. This is why I can't give it a 10 out of 10. So it left me confused and it left my balls in a twist. So if you don't know, John Wick dies. This is the final movie. John Wick dies. And it's not like it's a bad ending. It's not a bad ending at all. Like really, he's done all these things, and you know they even like do like a little remorseful scene with like the black guy. He saves his dog from being killed. Like you know that's so sweet because you know in the first movie his dog dies. That's so sweet. But the thing about it is, I don't know. They just the way that they play it out. They treat it more like a punchline. A really long 4-movie long punchline. Cause like it's deserving. Cause he finally kills like 2 table men and you know he frees himself, he's a free man now, and he saves all of his friends. He saves everyone but himself. Which I wouldn't mind so much if it wasn't for the fact it just felt really abrupt. Like it just like no one's like kind of shocked by it and no one's kind of like sad by it either. Like I don't know, it doesn't feel like a very worthy death. And he just got his freedom too, so it makes it feel even more like unworthy. I feel like it would have been much better if they just kept it to where like he killed the tableman, he broke the rules, and then he dies that way. I don't know, just something about him finally getting that freedom, and then not even barely getting like 12 seconds out of it. It just feels wrong. It feels weird. It feels weird. And when they're at his grave, they don't feel sad. They're laughing. It feels like a joke, or it feels like he's not dead. But they didn't really play either of those cards, so it just feels weird. I don't know, it just feels like it's out of place. But like I said, it's not a bad death. I just feel like they could have done it better, I guess. My friend Zach, Zach spelled with a K, has no relation to Zach spelled without a K, said that he didn't see a problem with it and he thought it was a good death. And I don't see him wrong for that, but I also don't see how he doesn't see that there's nothing, like, you know, it's like there's something wrong with it. Like, I just feel like it's very obvious something's wrong with it. And I feel like weird that like he doesn't see, I don't know. It's just so weird. Just go watch it for yourself. Tell me how you feel about it. Put it in the comments below. It was interesting. I wish I could give this movie a perfect 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna have to stick with my 9.5 out of 10. I'm sorry about that. I really am. It's a really good movie. Every other movie before this, I would give a confident 10 out of 10 because it's just so good. But this one, I'm just gonna have to give a 9.5 out of 10. You hate to see it. Maybe I'll change it in the future, because if you watch the end credit scene, there is a chance for another John Wick movie. Probably not gonna be called John Wick, but there is a chance for it. So watch the end credit scene. Tell me how you feel about it. I'm going to pin all of this hate onto one guy that I saw in the credits. Eduardo Lopez. Fuck you. It was just one random guy that I saw in the end credit scenes. Fuck you, Eduardo Lopez. Anyways, good movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was a really good movie. Lots of pros. Only one con, really, and I hate to be that one guy that lets that one con just ruin it, but like, I just really wish there was more, and I don't know. I feel a little stolen. I don't know. Anyways, good movie. Do recommend to go see. Thank you guys for watching so much, and I'm gonna go get high as fuck. I hope you guys watch the movies. Thank you guys for watching, moviegoers. Have yourself a good one.